So there are two specific models that I've been using to intentionally create the life that I want to live. And you may have heard of one. The first one is called SMART goals. And SMART goals are goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. The second model that I've been using is something that I use here at my work for logistical purposes. It's called DMAIC, D-M-A-I-C, and that stands for define the problem, measure current performance, analyze root causes, improve the process by implementing solutions, and control to sustain the gains that you make whenever you make your corrections, essentially. It's basically like a structured approach to eliminating waste, reducing defects, and increasing efficiency inside of like business operations, essentially. For me, I use DMAIC to correct the parts of my life that are wasteful. So what are the things that I'm doing intentionally or unintentionally that are keeping me from achieving my SMART goals? And if you sit down and really think about it, like sit on the edge of your bed and think to yourself or pray to God and ask, what are the things that I'm doing intentionally or unintentionally to keep me from achieving the goals that I've set before myself? And you sit there in the dark and it's quiet and you get to be you and your brain, you and you and you and God. And I think you'll be surprised at how revelatory of an experience that can be. For myself, I immediately started getting this giant list of things that I'm doing that are holding me back from achieving those goals that I've set before myself. And it's the things that I've been doing every single year that I never change, but still hope that I'm going to achieve my goals. That's called delusional. You're not going to make changes if you don't make changes. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. So once that list immediately popped into my head, I immediately started trying to justify doing these things. Like that thing that's in my head right now, do I really need to stop doing that? Because that thing is really, really fun to do. Or is that specific thing even really that bad? Whatever that thing is, that list that came in, it was just like one by one, I was trying to justify continuing these actions and continuing that behavior, but expecting different results and expecting the goals that I've set, the lofty goals that I've set for myself to come to fruition by not changing. That's not a good thing. So once I came to that realization, I immediately knew that these were the things that I need to stop doing in order to achieve the thing that I want to achieve. And once I let go of those things, I freed up the most valuable thing that all of us have in this life, and that is time. So in this video, I'm going to partially explain how I'm personally applying these specific principles to my goal setting and my system creation. And the only call to action that I'll have for you, besides obviously subscribing if you're new, liking the video, leaving comments in the comment section below about your new goals, your New Year's goals, is to Google SMART goals and to Google DMAIC processes. So go to Google and type in SMART goals and go to Google and type in DMAIC definition, and it'll give you a whole bunch of stuff that will probably help you in your professional life. More importantly, I think all of us are here to help our personal lives to get better. That makes sense. After you do that, I know that you'll be able to have a little bit more clarity when it comes to your goal setting, and you're able to better flesh out systems so that you have a path to follow to achieve those things that you set before yourself. First things first, we got to get a grip of reality. What is your reality? What is your whole life situation, right? For me, here's my reality. I'm married. I have 3 kids under 10. I'm a primary chorister at church, which means that I teach the kids new songs every Sunday as a part of like the children program at church, which is sick. It's awesome. The kids are hilarious and I love them. My Monday through Friday typically goes getting up at 5 o'clock, leaving the house by 6 o'clock, getting to the gym by 6:30 because the gym is 30 minutes away. That's one of the cons of living out in the countryside, because ain't not that close. You got to drive and damn far to go to work. God dang. I'm in the gym for about an hour from 6:30 to 7:30. I'm an hour and a half away from my job. And so I'm usually at work right about 9 o'clock, usually a little bit before 9 o'clock, and I can get through the doors. I'll work all day and I'm home usually about 6 o'clock. And so that puts me away from the house about 60 hours a week, which is something that I absolutely abhor about my life situation. I hate being away from my family or being that far away from my family for so long. I like to be able to help out my wife around the house with the kids, doing chores and things like that, because once all of those things go smoothly, everybody is much happier. But we got 3 kids under 10. The 9-year-old Tristan could probably do a little bit more work around the house. I'd probably, hey man, go wash the dishes. But I hate that is a part of my life. Some people don't like their family. I love my family. Now the finances. The finances is crazy. But for documentation purposes, I'm gonna be as transparent as I need to be so that my future self can look back at this video and be like, that's where I was. And they are this. Currently, I am $50,000 in debt. And now that's medical bills, that's credit card debt, and that's student loan debt. Fortunately, I own both of my vehicles. I've got a Ford Focus, 2016 Ford Focus, and a 1997 Chevy Suburban that I just got it whipping that bird, boy. I got some things that I want to do with that, and that's going to be later on down the road when we actually get some money. I want to be able to restore that truck to its former glory and give it the southern makeover that it needs and that it deserves. So if you see a blacked out lifted Suburban with 36 on 24s zooming down the road with an American flag and a BYU flag flapping in the wind off the back, just know it's probably gonna be me. But continuing, as a matter of transparency, I'm literally right now looking at my W-2 form, and I'm not gonna show y'all because my stuff is on this, but my gross profit last year was $70,000, and I took home $60,000. So if your math is mathing like my math is mathing, I am making ends meet because as of recording this video, Thursday, January 15th, 2026, I have just under $20 left in my name. And that is like 18 bucks in a checkings account, 18 bucks and some change, and like 50 cents in a savings account. And so that is chaos. It's all bad. However, my wife and I have sat down already. We already talked about what the finances were going to be looking like going into 2026 and 2027. All this last year was just paying towards medical bills and expenses. My son had a surgery. We had a new baby. So the money went from here to... But we've made our goals to take huge chunks of my paycheck and put those towards paying down our debts. And essentially, in about 2 years, all of that debt will be gone. This would be the same amount of time that it takes for me to actually get my degree, and I'll talk about that later. All of those expenses and all of that stuff has led us to this point where we are right now. But fortunately for us, we don't take on that whole victim mentality thing like, oh, woe is me, the government needs to pay somebody, give me some money, I wish I could win the lottery. So me and my wife have already made our SMART goals around this F in those 4 F's that I've talked about on this channel: faith, family, fitness, and finance. What I want you to find out is what your SMART goals are based off of your SMART goals for your faith, your family, fitness, and finance. Like, where are you specifically in your life that you can improve, and where are the goals, what are the things that you're trying to achieve, essentially is what I'm saying. So for my faith, or my spiritual and my mental health, I receive a lot of insights whenever I journal, whenever I study the scriptures, whenever I listen to talks from ancient and modern prophets and all of this stuff, right? The journaling kind of like ties all of those thoughts that I get whenever I'm doing those studies and puts them into a readable format that I literally use my body to write and literally use my mind to think when I'm writing out. And so journaling is super, super, super important. If you haven't started journaling, there's all kind of YouTube channels that talk about, oh, here's a great way of how to journal. I want to try to learn how to do that bullet journaling thing, but for now I'm just keeping to the old school, have the thought, write the thought, go in deep with it, figure out the answer to the prompt, and then dive deep on it, and then come out the other end of the entry more enlightened than whenever I started, if that makes sense. Sort of like a self-teaching, a self-learning experience as you journal. It's pretty cool. So the specific goal for journaling more in this instance is just rearranging the time that I have before I go to bed, turning off my phone when I'm not on call that week. You know, having conversations with my wife versus playing Ghost of Tsushima, which I love that game so much. But taking that time before bed to just journal before I go to bed, to wind my thoughts down, think about the next day, here's my goal for tomorrow, and in the morning, journaling as well, to follow up on any thoughts that I've had, any inspiration that I received between the time that I closed the book before I went to sleep and the time that I open my eyes and do my morning prayer and wake up, right? I think it's super valuable to begin the day with any inspiration that you receive to better your life. So anything that comes to your head where you're like, I need to do this. Now that I'm up, I have this idea, write it down. If you're sitting on the toilet, don't bring your phone in there with you. So you start scrolling, keep your journal on top of the toilet paper. So you could have your thoughts and sit there and write your thoughts out while you're taking a hot, steaming, bringing my family along this SMART goal DMAIC sort of path requires a lot of course correction. I want to deploy as much patience as I can towards my 3 kids. Like I said, I've got 3 kids under 10 years old, a 9-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 2-month-old. Sometimes I come across as a little bit stern because I'm tired from my day or whatever the case is. It's not that I don't love my kids. I'm just so burned out from being overstimulated over the course of the day that sometimes I just let my natural kind of like, oh, I'm tired. Hey, go play, man. Like, go do something else, right? I kind of have this conversation and then he's like, oh, okay. I know that I should spend more time and more valuable time, meaningful time with my kids. That's just the truth around it. That's the truth around it. None of us are perfect, you know? Also, sometimes I'm like unimpressed whenever they do the things that they're supposed to do. I'm like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Why should I be like hoopla? But as a parent, I know that I need to be able to give positive reinforcement, right? And so there is some measuring that I can do there, being conscious about the reinforcement that I give to my kids. Like, hey, you did this good thing. That's amazing. Do more of that. Versus them doing something good out of the goodness of their heart and then not receiving any kind of validation for it. But then when I do something bad, then I'm like, hey, you need to stop doing it, because it's like, oh, I'm doing this bad thing, therefore I must be bad. And then when I'm doing a good thing, I get no reaction. So is this good thing even worth doing, right? So something to think about when you're interacting with your kids. So because of the busyness of my schedule, I have made a goal to spend more time with my kids, being intentional with the hours that we spend. We're doing the 1,000 hours outside challenge. Me and my son, I've made it a point to be like, hey man, I'm about to go work on the truck. Come on out here, we're gonna vacuum the truck. Come on out here, we're gonna document this. Come on, let's do that thing. In fact, here's some footage here of he and I both vacuuming the truck and trying to get that thing all cleaned up on the inside, because she needs a little bit of work. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's pretty rough out here in these streets. But I can't come home and have my excuse be, oh, I'm too tired to spend time with you all. I can't have that be an excuse. Like, if I'm awake, I need to spend time with my kids. It's just the way that it is. Until they go to bed, they don't need to know how tired I am. Which brings me actually to my fitness goals. In order for me to be physically available for my family, my fitness has to be, I have to be an athlete. I have to have the stamina and the strength of an athlete. I have to stick to my regiment, put forth as much effort and honesty into my regiment as I possibly can, to be as athletic as I possibly can be, to be as flexible as I can be, to be as strong as I can be, to be the best provider that I can be. If I'm getting out of breath 10 minutes into playing with my kids, this is a huge problem. This is a major problem. Hey, if I'm out of breath when I have mommy and daddy time, that's a huge problem. As a matter of course, this is partially why I'm documenting my entire social media, online, business, YouTube, full-time content creator journey, and have the means by which I can measure the progress that I'm making in each one of my goals in each one of the sectors in my life. And moving on to finances is something that you and I, all of us, have in common. And like I said, I sat down with my wife and we talked about the goals that we have for eliminating our debts and making sure that we live within our means by knocking down those debts. And now that we know we have a little bit more financial literacy going into our 30s than we did in our early 20s when we first got married, she and I sat down also and had the conversation of what amount of money would be like, this is an obscene amount of money that is coming into our bank account. And the number that we came up with that was unfathomable to us was $240,000 a year, or right around $20,000 a month. Now she's from California, and she grew up in a household that was very, 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 very not well off. I'm a country boy. That amount of money is unfathomable to somebody like me. And I'm not a billionaire lifestyle kind of guy. I'm a Southern boy who just wants his homestead, his family, his truck, his farm, or whatever the case is. My community is my family, my church, and any one of y'all that subscribe to the channel. That's pretty much it. Some people's benchmark is $1 million. Like I would have made it if I'm taking home $1 million. If I take home $1 million a year, that is the benchmark, and that falls right under like $84,000 a month, I think. That's also insane. Look, here's the deal. If I ever got to that point and none of my faith, family, fitness, and finances compromised, hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. So the question I have for all of this is, are each one of my goals covered in the SMART goals process? And to that, I would say, yeah, I think so. All of these things are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant to my life, and I can achieve them in a timely manner, right? So my biggest pain points right now are my fitness, which is my body just feels like it's in so much pain from this job specifically. And I've hurt myself so much doing it that it's just kind of like, it's not like a one specific injury, it's just like these small ones over time where I'm like, I'm really sore every single morning, and joints and the bones and everything. So now I'm following a regimen to make sure that I strengthen the weakest parts of my body so that I can go and do the things that I need to do. So documenting that over the course of the channel, who knows, I may end up doing an Ironman. Who knows, I might end up running a marathon or whatever the case is, you know, who knows? Who knows where life is gonna take me? But it's all gonna be documented right here. So make sure you subscribe. If you've gotten this far in the video, make sure you subscribe. And the other big pain point that I have in my life is finances. Once that financial burden gets lifted off of my shoulder, I know, because it's something that's on my mind all the time. I'm like, dang, do I have enough money? Do I have enough money to, you know, keep up with my protein intake as I increase my fitness, right? And so using the DMAIC format, I'm using the C part of the DMAIC format, or control, to control what I can control. Controlling what you can control to improve your situation. So in order to increase my finances, I made two very specific investments. I'm investing in going back to school to get my degree in business administration. By the end of this year, I'll have 2 certificates that will qualify me for higher paying positions. All the while, I believe in creating content online so much and documenting your journey through whatever you're going through in life that I've decided to invest time and attention to going towards creating content, not only for my own benefit, but specifically to give you all who are watching this value, right? Because there's so many of, look at where I am in my life. We get to see everybody's last, you know, everybody's step 1,000 or step 100 or step 50, you know, people who are 50 steps, 100 steps, 1,000 steps ahead of you, but we don't get to see somebody who's at square one. I'm at square one. I restarted my life in my 30s, right? I had to move away from the city, go back to my dad's house. And I don't think of like living at my dad's house as like, oh, living at my dad's house. I changed my mindset from living at my dad's house to launching something from my father's house. Like, this is a big deal. I'm not paying the $2,000 a month in rent. I'm living with my dad, and I'm fortunate to have a father who's so willing to have me come back into his home. Like, this is a major deal, and I'm taking advantage of this opportunity as much as I can, helping around the house with his specific chores. You know, he's got, you know, 5 acres of land that we all try to make sure we cultivate and everything like that. We've got garden, and you know, the yard needs to be cut. We've got fruit trees and all of this stuff that we have to take care of, making sure the house stays clean, but all the while, all of the chores that we brought in with us, you know, doing laundry, doing the dishes, cooking, cleaning, you know, changing diapers and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I can always take on a little bit more to put my family in the best situation that I feel that they deserve. So yep, I made that investment into school, and I made that investment into social media content with the goal of being able to be monetized by the end of the year. At the time of recording this video, the monetization standards have just changed, but in my head, it's still 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time to get monetized on the channel. I don't know what it's gonna take to be able to do that, but I'm just following all the steps for all of the videos that I've watched in the past. Ali Abdaal, Alex Hormozi, Gary Vaynerchuk, you know, even somebody who's not quite at the 300,000 subscriber mark, Noah Anderson, or somebody who's gone way beyond in the physical fitness world like Nick Bare, who's done this for 14 years, right? And all of that aside, I'm controlling what I can control in the here and now at square one, at step 0, controlling what I can control. I can control how much time I spend with my family and the quality of time that I can spend with my family. I can control the amount of effort that I do in my physical fitness. I can control my diet, right? This morning it was steak and eggs. For breakfast, for lunch, it's gonna be steak and broccoli. Like, I'm gonna crank out 100 push-ups by the end of the day because I woke up late this morning because the babies were up all night and I couldn't sleep. My daughter got up at 3:30 in the morning and I woke up at 7:30. I was late to work. That's okay. It's all right. At this point, I hope your mind is turning to the specific goals that you can set for yourself in your life. And knowing that if you just take the time, invest some time into writing these things down and then mapping out the systems that you're going to create using what I told you, the SMART goals and the DMAIC format, to be able to organize these goals and then make a map of how to get to those things. You're gonna be all right. Y'all, it's January 2026. In 11 and a half months, you're gonna have the opportunity to look back to your past self at this point and say, man, I can't believe I got this far doing this thing. Right? Super excited. If you made it to the end of this video, make sure you hit a thumbs up, let the algorithm know that there's a video out there worth watching, and hit the subscribe button for more content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Love y'all.